They called themselves La Sombra Cinc, that means the Shadow Five. They came from the tough streets of El Raval, Barcelona's forgotten neighborhood. It's a place where hope didn't last long, and being loyal meant everything, more than family, more than God. They weren't just fans, they were like the city's secret heartbeat, its pulse. They grew up on broken streets, the roads were scarred, just like they felt inside. They learned things the hard way. Trust no one. Except the guy next to you, the ones who knew your hunger, your anger. Soccer was their way out. Camp Now, that was their church. But life, man, life was the real game they had to play. Some were hackers, others moved stuff, were traffickers, all of them were shadow men. Like ghosts in Barcelona's shiny city life, moving product, moving info, moving, always moving, doing things their own way, against the law. Their law was simple. That means us, and Barca. Always Barca. La Sombra Cinc. 5 main guys. Each one good at something special. Each one tied by secrets. And a past they couldn't just run from. Not that they even wanted to. The streets made them who they were. The club brought them together. Being kicked out only made them tougher. Paris was waiting. They knew it. Exile. A word they spat out like it was poison. Forced out. Not by choice. Never by their choice. The rich guys in suits, the cops, the other crews. They wanted La Sombra Cinc gone. Shut up. Made weak. Barcelona was just a memory then. A dull pain in their chests. Camp Now. A faraway roar that was fading. Being apart cut deep. But the fire inside them didn't die. It just smoked. Waiting for air. Waiting for a sign. The Champions League final. Barca against PSG. In Paris. Yeah, they got the joke, the irony. Their enemies thought they were broken. They were wrong. Dead wrong. This was more than just a game. The plan started like a whisper, a tiny light in the dark, getting into Paris, getting into the stadium, not legally, no way. There was no other way for guys like them. But it wasn't just about watching the game, it was about making a point, a comeback, and something else, something bigger. Loyalty to the team colors, loyalty to the crew. These were the only things they truly believed in. Paris was a risk, a huge, crazy risk. Could mean jail time, or worse. But what was life if you didn't take risks? Just a slow way to die. They chose to live, their way, even if it was just for one night. Paris, city of lights, more like city of lies. It met them with cold rain, and even colder looks from people. Not like Barcelona, never like Barcelona. This city had its own dark corners, its own bad guys. La Sombra Cinc moved through them, nobody saw them, nobody heard them, like a ripple in dark water. They knew how to do this. They found a hideout. A dirty apartment in some random suburb, the kind of place where nobody asks questions, where you could buy silence cheap. Bags got unpacked, laptops turned on, burner phones started ringing, the air got heavy with stress, and the smell of old cigarettes. The clock was ticking, loud. Each man knew what he had to do. The hacker, his fingers flying on the keyboard. The muscle, his eyes watching everything. The talker, making quiet calls. The planner, looking over maps of the stadium, of the city's computer systems. This wasn't just about singing soccer songs. This was about being exact, about hitting hard and then disappearing, leaving nothing but rumors. Their thoughts were dark. What if this was it? Their last fight? The thought was there, hidden deep down, but being scared was something they couldn't afford. Not now. They had a job to do, for Barca, for themselves, for the memory of El Raval. The Stade de France, a giant concrete building, lit up like it was worth a fortune, a place of dreams for most people. For La Sombra Cinc, it was a target, something to beat. Security was super tight, cameras everywhere, guys with guns, guys with dogs. Amateurs would stay away, they were no amateurs. Getting in was like a dance of shadows. One guy slipped through a service door, another climbed a low wall. A third used a fake ID pass. Digital ghosts fooled the electronic eyes. Every move was exact. They'd practiced it 100 times, in their heads, in dirty old warehouses. One mistake, and it was all over. Crap. The thought was there. But they pushed it down. The rush of adrenaline was like a drug. Better than anything they sold on the streets. The roar of the crowd, like a faraway ocean, getting closer. They moved through hallways, staying hidden from the main crowds, using the secret paths for stadium workers, blending in, or just disappearing when they had to. They were like ghosts in the machine, inside, finally, spread out among the Barca fans. No one saw them, not yet. The air was buzzing with excitement, for the game, and for what they were about to do. A different kind of game, played on the edges. The risks were higher here, much higher than any trophy. This was about staying alive, and making money. Scene 5. The Catalan chorus, a symphony from the shadows. The game started. PSG feeling good on their home field. The Paris crowd, a loud wall of noise. But La Sombra Cinc were ready. They weren't just there to watch. They were like music conductors, waiting for their moment. The first 10 minutes PSG attacked hard. Barca looked nervous. The time was right. It was time to act. Then the signal. A small nod. A quick look between them. And the first chant started. Not just any chant. It was planned. From different spots in the Barca section. A song they all knew from Camp Nou, cutting through the Paris noise. Pure Catalan spirit. People turned their heads. The Barca fans, who were scattered and quiet, now had something to focus on. A voice. It was like magic, like a spark hitting dry wood. The chants got louder, stronger. Sombra Cinc, leading without being seen, directing the wave of sound. The whole feel of the place changed. You could feel it deep down. The Barca players seemed to get a boost. New energy on the field. PSG started to mess up. Doubt started to show. This was their skill, understanding the crowd, the power of everyone singing together. They knew its magic, how it could change things. In the stands, on the field. They weren't just winning over the fans, they were changing the game. A little bit of control, a shadow's touch on what would happen. They cheered in their minds. Long live Barca. Scene 6. Halftime hustle, the Devil's Interval. Halftime, 15 minutes. For the teams, a break. For the fans, a beer, a trip to the bathroom. For La Sombra Cinc, it was go time, the main show. The soccer game was just the warm-up act, the pretty, violent distraction. Now the real music started, in the quiet corners, in the digital world. Two of them slipped away, deep into the stadium's hidden parts. A utility room they'd gotten into. Laptop open, keys clicking. A quiet, deadly sound. They weren't downloading music, they were breaking into secure systems. International info, bank codes, government secrets. The kind of stuff that could make you powerful. Or destroy you. At the same time in the crowded walkways. Other members moved, not with chants but with quiet words. Small packages passed hands. Impossible to trace. Worth a lot. This was how they funded their other business. The drug money paid for jobs like this, paid for their rebellion, their life outside the rules. Every deal, a small win, the genius of it, the sheer guts, while the world watched rich guys kick a ball, they were pulling the strings of a much bigger, darker game. Being loyal to the crew meant this too, this risk, this reward. The clock ticked, 15 minutes, enough time to change the world, or at least their world. Scene 7, 5 goals, 5 echoes, victory's dark twin, the second half. Barca came out playing like wild men, like they were possessed. The chants from their fans, non-stop, powered by La Sombra Cinc, and the team listened. Goal, after goal, after goal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. PSG fell apart. The Paris fans were shocked into silence. The Stade de France became like Camp Nou, but in the north. Each goal was like a punch, a win, for the team, for the fans, and for La Sombra Cinc. Their presence, their planned passion, it felt like it was part of the win. A secret weapon. They cheered with the crowd, real happiness mixed with cold, smart thinking, this perfect situation, this beautiful mess. It was all going just as they planned. The 5-0 score, amazing, unforgettable. People would talk about it for years, the kind of story legends are made of. And while the world focused on the miracle on the field, the digital robbery was done, the packages were delivered, the real job was finished, hidden by the big sports win, the perfect cover. No one suspected a thing. They watched the last few minutes. A strange quiet came over them. The job was done. Barca had brought home the glory. La Sombra Cinc had kept their own promise, to themselves, to their code. Victory had many sides. Tonight it wore a Barca jersey, and the hidden mask of the 5 shadows. A shared, secret win. Scene 8, Ghost in the Machine, the art of disappearance. The final whistle blew. Chaos. Barca fans going crazy. PSG fans sad, leaving quickly. Perfect cover. For La Sombra Cinc it wasn't time to party. Not yet. It was time to disappear. To blend into the crowds leaving, become ghosts again. This was what they did best. No victory parades for them, no champagne, just the cold, tough job of escaping. One by one they split up. Different ways out, different plans, wiping away their footprints, deleting data, getting rid of burner phones, leaving no sign they were ever there. Just a faint sound in the stadium's roar, a whisper in the Paris night. The cops would be busy, controlling the crowd, managing traffic. The last thing they'd be thinking about? A smart criminal job, done right under their noses. During the biggest game of the year, how bold they were was their protection, the fact that it was so unlikely. They counted on that. And on how good and tough they were. They were pros. Out of the stadium, into the wet, rainy streets. The city lights looked blurry, each man alone now, but still connected. By the risk they shared, the reward they shared, the hacker with his valuable data, the others with their share of the money. They moved to their escape points. The city wouldn't keep them, they were shadows. And shadows don't stick around. Scene 9, blood on the pavement, gold in their hands, a rebel's legacy. Days later, the world was still talking about Barca's win, the amazing 5-0. Experts talked about the game plan, fans watched every goal again and again. No one talked about La Sombra Cinc. No one knew their name, or the real robbery in Paris. That was their win, the quiet, perfect crime. Gold in their hands, the city far away. They were richer, yeah, the data was sold, the product was moved. But it wasn't just about the cash. Never just about the cash, it was about fighting back, giving a middle finger to the system that kicked them out. That tried to break them, they proved they couldn't be broken, just scattered, and they came back, stronger, more dangerous. What is loyalty? Is it to a club whose colors you die for, or to the brothers who bleed with you in the streets? For La Sombra Cinc, it was the same damn thing, a bond that couldn't be broken, made in tough times. Their rebellion was who they were, their crimes a way of life, a protest against a world that gave them nothing. So they took what they wanted, their way, always. They were back in the shadows, planning, waiting. The game never really ends, only the places change. The big questions stayed in their minds. Were they heroes or bad guys? Fighters for a lost cause or just criminals? They didn't care what people called them. They were La Sombra Cinc, survivors. And in their world, that was all that mattered.